All right. I told you couldn't miss Steve. He's a little guy. Hard to find in a room. You can always find Steve. Anyway, we're very glad to have you, Steve. I hope you're glad to be down here in St. George.
I'm very happy to be down here in
All
St.
right.
George.
It's a tremendous place to be. So I've got 5 questions for you. We'll see if we get through all 5 of them.
Okay.
But we have a timer, so at one point it'll end. Unless it's really good, we might keep it going.
All right.
Anyway, all right. I want you to first question, and this is you've all heard about, or maybe you haven't, the new state housing plan that's coming. Explain the objectives of this state housing plan.
That's a great question, and I think it's one we need to probably talk more about, is what we're trying to do. Traditionally, the state hasn't had to be involved in anything beyond low-income housing and homelessness, right? I mean, that's been the space where both the federal government and the state have been really active because you have to have subsidies for that. As a result of the last several years of home price increases and the new distance between affordability and incomes, we're in new space. It's unprecedented in our country. We used to be 3 to 1. 3 times the median income was the median home price. Now we're somewhere between 5.5 and 6.5, depending on where you are in the state. So we've cut affordability in half, which means that for workforce, for people who used to be able to buy a home, teachers and police officers and firefighters and civil servants and mayors, even part-time ones, we have to engage in a different way in housing structure in our state. We have a significant crisis. We have a lack of choice, particularly for our kids, and so we're looking at what is the structure of housing in the state? What does it look like? Where are places where we can have an impact in creating opportunities? And our goal is home ownership is our primary goal. We need affordable rentals. We need everything. But the state housing plan is set up to identify those areas where we can have impact, look at each of them in part and in pieces: rural areas, resort areas, moderate income housing, infrastructure. I mean, all of those things need specific attention.
So I can remember when I remember one of the first apartments I rented after I got married. I think it was like $250 a month. I don't think that exists anywhere in Utah.
Maybe your basement?
Yeah, it was a basement, and and I thought it was a lot, $250 a month then. But I remember buying my first house, and it was, it was like $119,000, and I could barely afford it, but it was available. There are no $119,000 houses in Utah. Are there?
I think they just shut one down in Ogden yesterday, but
oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
Hey, these are my people. But I mean, that's the point, is the only thing that's cheap are really uninhabitable. And we're not producing any new. And so that's part of the goal, is to produce new.
Yeah, we have the gap, the housing gap, and then we have a lot of things. How do cities fit into this housing plan? Because like I said in my remarks, we're where it all happens. So hopefully you're crafting a way that we have a say and the ability to kind of help build these communities. So how do we fit?
Well, you've got great representation through the league structure. Your executive committee also is involved. So we've got representatives of all the cities, and then we have individual people from different cities that are chiming in with responses. I think the initial phase came back with, I can't even remember how many comments from the league. So the league sends it out to all the members. We get that feedback. We incorporate it. So that process is going to continue. The reality is we can't do anything without you.
We like to hear that.
We can't. And I think Cam referenced it in an earlier panel. You look at other states where there have been knockdown, drag-out fights, they end in lawsuits. And it's 3, 5, 7 years before anything actually gets implemented. We need to implement things now, and in order to do that, we have to collaborate.
And I think you would agree that the league, we collaborate. We also are there. You know where we are on issues. Have you ever been confused about where the league is?
Never.
Good.
Not when I'm talking to you. I'm never confused when I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Sometimes we always know where we're coming from. But So one of our worries that all of these mayors and city council members have is, and Cam says it a lot, is the one size misfits all approach. And sometimes we, I think I'm speaking collectively for us all, feel like we get a little bit of that one size misfits all from our legislature. Talk about that for a minute.
It's easy, right? I mean, that's the default is, hey, we're the state, so we look at things as a state, and we don't contemplate what individual cities' needs are because we're the state, and that's our view. And that's natural because that is their obligation. Their obligation is to look at the state as a whole. The governor's obligation is to look at the state as a whole. I think Representative Dunnigan's HB 37 did a good job this year of identifying the fact that we need regional solutions. We do a great job regionally of planning our transportation infrastructure. We have meetings, we have the local area governments, they all get together and we decide the road's going to go here and we're going to do this here, and we plan it out really, really well. What we don't do as well is planning out our water, sewer, other infrastructure pieces with relationship to housing. And housing is so localized and parochial that you can literally go across the street and the rules change and the entire feel of that changes from one side of the street to the other. So I think that's an area where we can ask you to collaborate better with your neighbors like you do on so many other things. You mentioned it already. I mean, you get along with everybody. We do this. This is not new.
So for us, and at least I'm a Star Trek fan, and I love The Undiscovered Country, one of my favorite Star Trek movies. But I remember when they got sent off on the next assignment, and Kirk was mad at Spock, and he said, "We've done our bit for Team and Country, Spock. We don't need another mission." And I feel like that sometimes with rental property. We've done our bit for Team and Country, Spock. Going forward, I know you feel this way. I know the governor does. I know I do. Ownership has got to be the central figure of this housing plan. Where's ownership in this?
Ownership is key to everything we do. And if you look at the tools that we've created over the last 3 or 4 years within the legislature and from push from the governor's office, ownership is a part of all of those. So we're looking at you think about the condo initiative, the new condo initiative, 100% ownership. The HB 572 money, at least 60% ownership. We need to give those tools to cities because that is the key to our future, the future stability of our state. What we love, what we have is based on the fact that we have a 70% ownership structure in our state right now. But going forward, we have like a 7% ownership structure by generation. I mean, that's really scary.
It's the whole American dream.
It is.
Fleeting into high interest rates, all the things that cause all these problems.
And it's the number one wealth generator for our country historically. I mean, for the middle class, you're either going to buy a home for yourself or you're going to buy it for your landlord. You're going to buy a house. May as well buy it for yourself.
That's a great point. Well, Steve, thank you for talking to us. We look forward to the state housing plan and look forward to working with you as a league and making a good thing for all of us. So appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Oprah.